Hi everyone, welcome to the webinar and workshop series conducted by TCS in lieu of the upcoming OCS exams happening in November 2024. My name is Nick and I'm the lead tutor and evaluator for OCS at TCS. So let's look at the session plan. First things first, I'm going to direct your attention towards general feedback because two students, although many students had are supposed to start their preparations. Only two students had sent across their answers for marking. So based on these two answer scripts, I will be providing general feedback. And in the second part of today's session, I will be taking you through a 3-week study plan. So if you're still to start preparations, then at least now you have to focus your attention towards conducting all your preparations. So with that in mind, I will be sharing a 3-week study plan with you. And then I will be discussing one of the questions covered within our mock exams, thereby taking you through a question and answer pertaining to the E1 syllabus to ensure that you gain a good understanding about how to tackle such a question if it's thrown at you at your real exam. And I will be opening up for a Q&A towards the very end of the session. So before we get into the technicalities, if I quickly remind you about the upcoming workshops which we have scheduled for you. So next Sunday, the workshop which is focused on your F1 syllabus will be conducted. So just like in today's session, I will be taking you through one of the mock exam questions which is focused on your F1 syllabus to make you understand how to tackle such a question. And at this workshop, I will be opening up for a Q&A as well. And a similar approach will be adhered to in the workshop which is focused on your P1 syllabus. And the final workshop, which happens 2 or 3 days before your examination, I will be sharing last minute tips with you to make sure that you walk into your exam with a positive mindset. All right, so first things first, directing our attention towards the general feedback. So after marking the two answer scripts which came through, what I understood was both students had deflected from the task requirement, which is quite common because you are still trying to gain an understanding or master the answering and time management technique. So, when it comes to the answering technique, which I highlighted in the third webinar, I hope you attended it live. If not, please go watch the recorded version, which can be accessed via our student dashboard, because in that webinar, I taught you answering technique, and you need to keep replicating these answering and time management techniques when attempting the 6 mock exams which we have developed for you. This will, adhering to our answering technique, will ensure that you'll develop answers which are totally aligned with the requirement at hand. So in the third webinar, I highlighted the fact that before you develop the answer plan, you are supposed to reiterate each requirement in your own words in a concise form with two objectives in mind. The first objective is to clearly understand the requirement, because most students lack the capability to clearly understand the requirement, especially given the fact that you are under exam stress. And on top of that, some subtasks or some requirements go on for 2 or 3 sentences. So when you are exposed to an extremely long task or a subtask, then you'd try to read it twice or thrice to gain a good understanding of what you're expected to achieve. Yet, since you are under pressure, you will not clearly understand what's expected from you. So with the intention of clearly understanding the requirement, you are supposed to reiterate each requirement in your own words, in a concise form, before you develop the answer plans. So I will explain these things in a little while when I'm taking you through one of the mock exams concerning your E1 syllabus. So, sorry, with the intention of developing answers which are totally aligned with the requirement, what should you do? You should reiterate the requirement in your own words in a concise form. And as I mentioned earlier, you should do this with two objectives in mind. Objective number 1, to clearly understand the requirement, and objective number 2 is to make sure that whilst developing the answer plan, you can always refer back to a simplified requirement and quickly figure out whether you are headed in the correct direction, whether your answer is totally aligned with the requirement. So, keep practicing these techniques across the 6 mocks so that at your exam, you will never deflect from the task. And lack of theoretical knowledge and application was a major problem. That's quite normal because as per our study plan, I've mentioned that you are supposed to attempt each mock exam without referring to the answers, the suggested answers, the answer plans, or the master classes. Why have I asked you not to refer to any study material when attempting the mock exams under exam conditions? Because this gives you an indication of what your shortcomings are. So when you attempt a mock exam and when you feel that you didn't do a good job, then your brain will tell you to really focus on conducting your revision with the intention of improving the structure of your answers or improving the quality of your answers. So in order to push yourself towards revision, what you need to do is you need to attempt each mock exam without referring to any answers. So because of that, let's assume there was a question about decision trees, and if you're clueless about decision trees, especially if you're coming through the exemption route, you'd have knowledge gaps concerning your P1 and F1 syllabi. So if there was a question about decision trees, and if you're clueless about decision trees, then it's quite normal for you to come up with inaccurate answers, half-hearted answers, or sometimes you might tend to skip such a question because you don't know what to include within your answer. So I spotted this when going through the two answer scripts which I marked. These answer scripts did show that there were significant knowledge gaps. And on top of that, even if you knew knowledge, I spotted situations where you have not understood how to work on your application, because just because you know your theory, if you develop a highly theoretical answer without considering the information presented in each scenario or reference material, you won't get any marks. I saw this specifically pertaining to a question to do with variance analysis, because there were a certain set of variances which you were expected to evaluate based on the presented information, yet both the students had simply explained the theories or the theoretical concepts behind each variance rather than considering the information presented in the scenario when conducting your evaluation. So it's as if you are telling your boss what a variable overhead expenditure variance is all about, rather than explaining what appears within the reference material, rather than explaining why an adverse or a favorable variance has occurred, and rather than explaining the link between different types of variances. So in order to improve these elements, in order to learn theory and improve application skills, you need to watch the master classes, especially if you're coming through an exemption route or if you had failed the OCS exam previously. It's of utmost importance that you watch these master classes so that you can easily learn the necessary theoretical concept and at the same time understand what you need to do with regards to improving your application skills. And as per our study plan, after watching these master classes, you are supposed to test your knowledge by redeveloping answer plans. So that's where you are implementing what you have learned via the master classes. And this will ensure that you significantly improve your, revise your theoretical knowledge, as well as significantly improve your application skills. And once you have redeveloped answer plans, you are supposed to compare your fresh answer plans to the answer plans which we provide to further understand how to refine your answers. So lack of application and issues with theory knowledge can easily be overcome by watching the master classes and redeveloping answer plans. And there were issues pertaining to the number of points which appear within subtasks. So I spotted that towards the last subtasks in each task. So for instance, if you look at our mock exams, each task carries 3 subtasks. So students had developed proper answers for the first 2 subtasks, but towards the end, I didn't see proper answers. I saw parts of the answer structure or the answer plan, which indicates that, you have run out of time. So, and on top of that, in certain questions, I saw that you have, developed extremely long answers, whereas in certain subtasks, especially if you are not too conversant with the theoretical element tested, there's a tendency for you to develop extremely short answers. So as I mentioned in the third webinar, answering technique, I said that before you develop the answer plan, you are supposed to determine how many points you should include within each subtask. How are you supposed to determine it? Based on the weightages provided under each subtask. So the weightages give us an indication about how much marks are allocated. And once you understand the mark allocations, you can easily determine how many valid points need to appear under each subtask, because each valid point carries 2 or 3 marks. So if you're supposed to, if as per the weightage provided, 15 marks are allocated for a certain subtask, then since each valid point carries 2 or 3 marks, you need to have at least somewhere around 5 to 7 valid points within your answer in order to score 15 marks. So stick to these techniques when practicing the mock exams. When developing answer plans, always remember, consider the weightage provided. Based on the weightage, determine mark allocations. Based on the mark allocations, determine the number of points which you should include within each subtask. And once you work in this manner, you will come up with answers which are totally aligned with mark allocations. And on top of that, your answers will not be too short or too long, and you won't unnecessarily waste time when developing answer plans. So focus on this element. And there were issues with expanding the answer plan as well. One of the students was struggling a bit. I spotted that one of the students was struggling a bit with regards to expanding the answer plan. So as I mentioned in the third webinar, you are supposed to allocate somewhere around 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes to develop the answer plan for all the subtasks which are included within a certain task. So after developing the answer plan, you are supposed to flesh out the answer plan or expand the answer plan in paragraph form, thereby developing a paragraph which consists of 2 to 4 line sentences, developing a paragraph per answer point. So if you intended to include 7 valid points within a certain subtask, then in your fully fledged answer or in your final answer, you need to have 7 paragraphs. So one of the students was struggling with this. So in order to overcome this issue, please refer to the master classes. Then you'd gain a good understanding about how to flesh out your answers based on your answer plans. And on top of that, refer to the suggested answers which we have provided. By comparing the answer plans which were provided and the suggested answers, you'd gain a good understanding about what you need to do when it comes to fleshing out your answer plan or expanding your answer plan in paragraph form. And so these are the main issues, and for each of these issues, I provided solutions. I hope you'd keep repeating these techniques over and over again, because it's not easy to develop an answer plan within 20 minutes. It's not easy to manage your time. You would have experienced, you'd be comfortable with the first 2 tasks, but towards the last 2 tasks, especially tasks 3 and 4, you will experience fatigue. Fatigue leads to extreme levels of stress. Stress leads to a situation where you try to provide rushed answers because your brain keeps telling you to avoid this stressful situation which you're exposed to. So with the intention of avoiding this situation, you try to rush the answers, thereby trying to finish off the mock exam as fast as possible. So it's good that you are exposed to these problems right now than at your real examination, because in webinar number 4, which was conducted last week, I highlighted what you need to do to overcome exam stress. I shared some tips with you which will help you to manage exam stress. So when attempting your mock exams, keep practicing these techniques over and over. I've taught you 3 main techniques via the webinar series. I've taught you an answering technique, a time management technique, and a stress management technique. So when attempting each of our 6 mock exams, keep practicing these 3 techniques over and over until you get your bearings with it. Because if you do so, it's as if you are practicing these techniques 24 times over, which is enough and more practice for you to champion these techniques at your real examination. So that's a feedback which I wanted to share with you. And before we move on to the mock exam discussion and the 3-week study plan, let me quickly remind you what we offer at TCS. So I'm on the OCS page. If you are yet to check the free content, click on this button and create a free user account. Via the free user account, you'd gain access to the recorded versions of the webinars and workshops, which we conduct on a weekly basis. You'd also gain access to the free mock exam, its suggested answer, and the answer plan. And on top of that, you have the opportunity of attempting the free mock exam under exam conditions via our exam platform. So click on this button and create a free user account. Once you have done so, you can access the dashboard. Let me quickly show you how to navigate. So click on My Courses. In front of OCS Free, you would see an Access Content button. Click on it, then you'd gain access to the video content and the study material, which carries the pre-seen mind map and the answer plan of the free mock exam. You'd also gain access to the free mock, the questions, and its suggested answers via the platform itself. And via the exams tab, once you click on this button, free mock, you can start attempting the free mock exam under exam conditions, which will ensure that you have the opportunity of practicing answering, time management, and stress management techniques. So if you're yet to practice the free mock exam under exam conditions, please go create your free user account and check it out. And if you're interested in investing on our paid content, click on this button and get your bearings with the type of resources we offer at TCS. And if you're yet to join our OCS WhatsApp group, click on this button and join it, because you can engage in group learning. If you have any questions, I'm always there to help you. And on top of that, I will be sharing a plethora of free resources via the WhatsApp group. So click on this button to join it. And talking about the two packages we offer a value pack and a premium pack. The value pack is focused on those who had completed their CIMA OTQs or those who are coming through the general route. So since you have completed your E1, F1 and P1 OTQ examinations, you are conversant with theory. You simply need to work on your application skills. So under the value pack, you would gain access to the recordings of all webinars and workshops which we conduct on a weekly basis. You will gain access to 6 mock exams with suggested answers. And as I've mentioned throughout the webinar series, we have made sure to cover all syllabus elements when developing these 6 mock exams. You might be wondering as to why you need to attempt 6 mocks, because it takes 6 mock exams to cover the entire syllabus. And if you had gone through past exam variants or past papers, you would have seen that the examiner develops 6 different variants or 6 different papers focused on one single pre-seen document. So if you want to be conversant with how each syllabus element is tested at your exam, then you need to attempt these 6 mock exams. So on top of the free mock exam, you would also gain access to 5 additional mock exams via the value pack, along with their suggested answers. And you'd also gain access to pre-seen analysis videos, 4 videos in total. And after you had watched these pre-seen analysis videos, you'd gain an in-depth understanding about the information presented in your pre-seen document. You need not do anything else to understand the pre-seen. Simply watch the pre-seen analysis videos. Then you'd also gain access to the annotated pre-seen and industry and financial analysis slides. So this is a typical what a typical annotated pre-seen looks like. This is an annotated pre-seen which we developed for a previous sitting. As you can see, one of the objectives of coming up with these annotations is to provide a good summary of the entire pre-seen, and at the same time, based on the hints provided by the CIMA examiner, we have highlighted probable exam scenarios which can be thrown at you at your real exam. And based on these exam scenarios, we have highlighted probable syllabus elements which can be tested at your exam. So by gaining access to this annotated pre-seen, your life becomes easy when it comes to understanding the pre-seen document, and at the same time, you can easily decrypt the type of hints provided by the CIMA examiner, and based on it, understand what type of issues can be tested and what type of syllabus elements can be tested at the exam. So all these elements, the probable exam scenarios and probable areas which can be tested, are covered within the 6 mock exams which we have developed. And talking about the financial analysis slides, again, these are a set of slides which we prepared for a previous case study examination. We have evaluated each financial statement in depth, yet we have kept things simple to make sure that you gain a good understanding of what appears within each financial statement easily. So we have evaluated the SOPL, the SOFP, as well as the statement of cash flows. And we have also conducted a ratio analysis, and we have evaluated each ratio in depth, yet keeping things simple so that you would gain an in-depth understanding about the financial standing of your chosen company. And looking at the industry analysis slides, these slides comprise of four main elements. First things first, we have defined your chosen industry. Then we have highlighted the competitive landscape and industry trends, with the intention of explaining to you what type of scenarios can be tested at the exam. And at the very end, we have provided examples considering two real-life companies to further cement your understanding about your chosen industry. So once you gain access to this set of slides, you need not, do up calculations and try to decrypt what appears within financial statements. You need not do research focused on your industry. We have done it for you. And you'd also gain access to top 10 likely issue slides. These slides indicate the most probable syllabus elements which can be tested at your exam. You'd also gain access to a case study familiarization kit. So after reading through this familiarization kit, within 10 to 15 minutes, you stand a chance to gain an in-depth understanding about the technicalities behind your OCS exam. You'd also gain access to a tutor-managed live chat and OTQ revision cards. So as I mentioned earlier, the value pack is designed for those who had completed their OTQs. So after attempting each mock exam, if you feel that you need to brush up your knowledge concerning a certain theoretical element, or you were struggling with a certain theoretical element, simply refer to the OTQ revision cards to brush up your knowledge. So the value pack is priced at £199. And talking about the premium package, this is designed for those who are coming through the exemption route and focused on those who had failed the OCS exam previously. So both sets of students have the same problem. There are gaps in theoretical knowledge and issues with application. So with the intention of teaching you theory and helping you improve your application skills, we have included additional resources on top of the value pack under the premium package. So you'd gain access to the online mock exam platform across all 6 mock exams, which gives you the opportunity to master answering time management and stress management techniques. And on top of that, it's best that you attempt each mock exam under exam conditions, so that you know what type of issues you'd face. It's best to face all these issues when conducting preparations rather than at your real examination. And you'd also gain access to one-on-one tutor feedback on mocks, 3 mocks, the last 3 mocks. Focused on the last 3 mocks, you'd get one-on-one tutor feedback. So this is the type of feedback you'd receive at TCS. As you can see, we have provided in-depth feedback with the intention of ensuring that you gain a good understanding of your shortcomings, because the objective of seeking feedback should be to understand your shortcomings, because if you understand your shortcomings, you can work towards overcoming them when redeveloping your answer plans. So you can see the type of feedback which we have provided at TCS. Throughout this answer script, we have provided in-depth feedback. And at the very end, we have provided marks on a subtask by subtask basis. We have also indicated a success rate, which and the yellow highlighted subtasks indicate the subtasks in which your performance was substandard. So after receiving tutor feedback, when it comes to redeveloping answer plans, rather than redeveloping answer plans focused on the entire mock exam, your focus should be to redevelop answer plans focused on the subtasks which are highlighted in yellow. So if you stick to this methodology, you are focusing solely on your shortcomings and trying to avoid or overcome your shortcomings when conducting your revision. That's the smartest approach which you need to adhere to in the upcoming 3 weeks. And we also provide general comments at the end as well. So that's the type of feedback which we offer under the premium package. You'd also gain access to answer plans of all 6 mock exams. In a little while, you'd see what an answer plan looks like. And you'd also gain access to 20 master classes from mocks 2 to 6. There are 5 mock exams in total. In each mock exam, there are 4 tasks, just like in your real examination. 4 tasks into 5 mocks come out to 20 tasks in total. So focused on each of these tasks, we have developed masterclasses, and via these masterclasses, whilst taking you through the logic of each answer, We have made sure to teach you the relevant theoretical concept which is covered within the mock exam, and at the same time explain how to work on your application skills. So if you had failed the OCS exam previously, or if you're coming through an exemption route with the intention of overcoming your knowledge gaps and issues with application, you have to gain access to these master classes. And once you gain access to all these resources, you can pass for sure, hence the pass guarantee. So if you invest on the premium package and end up failing, you'd gain access to the premium content in your subsequent sitting free of charge. However, in order to claim the pass guarantee, you have to complete these 3 requirements. You have to complete all 6 mock exams. If not, you would be testing your luck at the exam. As I mentioned earlier, you have to be conversant with how each syllabus element is tested at your examination. So with that in mind, you have to attempt all 6 mock exams. And when attempting each mock exam, don't refer to any of the answers, the suggested answers, the answer plans, or the master classes. Instead, do it on your own. Then you'd be exposed to your shortcomings. It's best that you understand your shortcomings when attempting mock exams, because you can overcome these shortcomings when it comes to conducting revision, which is about redeveloping answer plans focused on the weekly mock exam. Then you are supposed to meet the performance criteria, where you are supposed to score 40% or higher for the last 3 mock exams. We have come up with this performance criteria with the intention of ensuring that you do a serious job when attempting the last 3 mock exams, especially given the fact that we are providing tutor feedback. So once you have completed all these 3 requirements, you will not fail your OCS exam. That's why we provide a pass guarantee under the premium package. So the premium package is priced at £699, which can be paid in 2 installments of £349 each, spread over 2 months, or you can pay in full and save £100 if so. The price of the package is just £599. And all packages are available until the 28th of February 2025. So if you are planning to attempt your OCS exam in Feb, you can invest right now and start your preparations so that you can conduct your preparations in a relaxed atmosphere. So let me quickly also take you through the OCS study plan, which can be accessed via the website itself. So according to the study plan, so this is applicable if you had already started your preparation. So I said that 2 of the students had already adhered to the study plan. So if you had already adhered to it, please keep practicing please keep practicing the same things which you have done across the last 3 weeks. So according to the study plan, we are in week number 5, and you are supposed to attempt the 3rd mock via the exam platform. After attempting the 3rd mock exam, in order to learn theory and improve application, watch the 4 master classes. And after learning theory and application, test your knowledge by redeveloping answer plans focused on the 3 mock exam, focused on mock exam 3, because that's the best thing which you should do, the best type of revision you should engage in with the intention of improving the quality of your answers, improving the quality of your answer structures, and refer to personalized tutor feedback on mock number 3. So I was sharing information with you about the shortcomings which I've encountered after going through your answer scripts. So I have not provided a proper tutor feedback as yet, because as per the study plan, you are supposed to attempt by the end of this week. By the end of the previous week, you were supposed to attempt up until mock number 2. I just simply, although you were supposed to attempt up until mock number 2, the 2 students had only completed the first mock exam. So I just went through the answer scripts to figure out the shortcomings. But you'd get in-depth feedback this week onwards, because as per the study plan, you are supposed to attempt mock number 3. So from mock number 3 onwards, you'd receive tutor feedback. So the study hours, weekly study hours, which you need to allocate is just 9 hours, out of which your real responsibility is to allocate 4.5 hours, 3 hours to attempt the mock, and 1.5 hours to redevelop the answer plan. Everything else is handled by us. So if you're sticking to the study plan, I hope you'd stick to it in the future as well. So that's what we offer at TCS. Having said that, let's move on to the 3-week study plan. So if you're yet to start your preparations, you have 3 weeks at your disposal until your examination. So it's high time you start preparation. So we have developed this study plan assuming that you'd start work next Monday, which is the 14th of October. So on Monday, you are supposed to watch the pre-scene analysis videos, which will take 3 hours of your time. This should be done with the intention of gaining a good understanding about your pre-scene, your company's internal and external dynamics, as well as financial performance. Then, in order to learn answering technique and time management technique, watch the recorded version of the third webinar. If you had already watched it, or if you attended the live session, you need not do this. However, if you are yet to check out the third webinar, or if you missed out on the live session, before you start attempting mock exams, you are supposed to watch the recorded version of webinar number 3, which is going to take 1.5 hours of your time. Then you have to focus your attention towards attempting mock exams. So first things first, attempt the free mock exam. Then you'd realize what your real shortcomings are. You'd understand that you run out of time. You'd understand that you struggle with answering technique. So the free mock is designed to ensure that you are exposed to your shortcomings, so that you you understand what's wrong with you, and you start working in a serious manner across the remaining 5 mock exams. So on the 17th of October, a day after attempting the free mock exam, you are supposed to attempt mock number 1. And in order to learn theory and improve application skills concerning mock number 1, watch the master classes. After you had learned theory and application skills, test your knowledge by redeveloping answer plans focused on mock number 1. And after you had redeveloped fresh answer plans, compare them to the answer plans which we have provided to further improve your understanding about what type of answers you are supposed to develop at your examination, how to tackle theoretical elements, and how to work on your application skills. And a similar approach should be adhered to across the other 5 mock exams as well. Attempt mock 2, watch the master classes to learn theory and improve application, and test your theory knowledge and application skills by redeveloping answer plans, and compare your fresh answer plans to the answer plans which we have provided at TCS. So likewise, until the 31st of October, you are supposed to keep attempting mock exams every 3 days. And when attempting these mock exams, if you had opted for the premium package, you can utilize our exam platform, which forces you to attempt each mock exam under exam conditions. However, if you have opted for the value pack, you would have to attempt each mock exam on your own. So just like in your real examination, attempt all 4 tasks 3 hours at a stretch, and time or focused on each task. Time your performance, allocating 45 minutes. You would be exposed to extreme levels of stress. That's totally fine. Your job should be to sit in one place and attempt the entire mock exam across 3 hours, and try to give your best shot when doing so. So keep practicing mock exams, then conduct your revision focused on the master classes. After learning theory and application, put your knowledge into test by redeveloping answer plans. And once you are done with all 6 mock exams, again, focus your attention towards redeveloping answer plans. This is the best way to revise the entire syllabus close to the exam, and at the same time work on your answering technique and application skills. So redevelop answer plans of the first 3 mock exams on the 1st of November, then move on to redeveloping answer plans focused on the last 3 mock exams on the 2nd of November, and 3 days, 2 or 3 days before the exam, simply stop all your work and start referring to the answer plans of the 6 mock exams. So when you are referring to these answer plans, it's as if you are going through the entire syllabus once more, and at the same time reminding yourself how to approach a certain theoretical element, how to structure your answers, and how to work on your application skills. And once you have done all these things, you are supposed to stop all work a day prior to your exam. So if your exam is on the 6th, you have to stop all your work by the 4th of November. Why am I asking you to do it? Because it's best that you are calm and composed before you walk into your examination. So you need to rest both physically and mentally. So that's exactly why I'm asking you to stop all work a day before your examination. So you might think that I'm crazy to ask you to stop all work a day before the exam when you just have 3 weeks at your disposal. As per this study plan, if you attempt a mock exam every 3 days, or simply put, if you stick to the study plan, you can get everything done within just 3 weeks. And there are so many students who had who start their preparations late, and who actually implement the study plan on a daily basis and end up passing the OCS exam comfortably. Because if you stick to the study process, it's as if you are going through the same mock exam 5 times over. So that's enough and more practice for you to gain a good understanding about how to structure your answers, how to approach theoretical elements, and at the same time significantly improve your application skills. So I will share the study plan with you via the WhatsApp group. I hope you'd adhere to it to make sure that you pass your OCS exam by focusing your attention towards getting everything right in the upcoming 3 weeks. All right, so having said that, let's move on to the mock exam discussion. So I'm going to base my discussion on one of the questions which appear within mock exam 1. So I'm going to direct your attention towards section 1, subtask C. Whilst having a chat with Amy, sales and marketing manager, it was suggested that we should use big data to forecast sales trends. Yes, big data can be used for forecasting techniques. So specifically focusing on sales, and with the intention of understanding sales trends, our sales and marketing manager is suggesting that we invest on big data. Such a move would enable us to assess sales performance of our product ranges, and at the same time allow us to accurately predict future sales. So we can gain accurate predictions about the demand for our products, and at the same time we can track the performance of the different types of products which we sell within the market. Let's look at the requirement. Explain how big data can be utilized to enhance sales forecasting and planning. Also highlight the benefits and limitations of employing big data for these purposes. So what is your first step? After reading through the scenario, your first step should be to reiterate the requirement in your own words in a concise manner. So that's exactly what you can see if you direct your attention towards this answer plan which we have developed for mock number 1. So task 1, subtask C, use of big data in sales forecasting. That's the first element. What type of benefit can we gain by using big data for sales forecasting activities? That's the first part of your question. And the second part of your question is to highlight the pros and cons of big data. So this is why I'm asking you to reiterate the requirement in your own words in a concise form, because it gives you a clear indication of what you are expected to achieve. Rather than doing this straight away, if you start typing out your answer, what happens is you will fulfill the first part of the requirement. You will explain successfully how big data can be utilized to enhance sales forecasting and planning. However, since you are under exam stress, since you are rushing with time, you'd also you'd forget to mention the second part or cover the second part of the question, which is to highlight the benefits and limitations of employing big data. So in order to avoid these type of issues, you are supposed to reiterate the requirement in a concise manner so that you can easily understand what you are expected to achieve. You can easily see how a certain question is divided into separate elements. Although this is one single subtask, this comprises of 2 main elements. Okay. And whilst developing the answer plan, you can always refer back to the simplified requirement to see whether you are headed in the correct direction. So this is the best approach which you need to adhere to before you develop your answer plan. And based on the weightage provided, I said you are supposed to determine the mark allocation. So 30% of 37.5 marks, which is allocated for the entire task, comes up to 11 marks. And as I mentioned earlier, each valid point carries 2 or 3 marks. So in order to gain 11 marks, you need to come up with something like 4 to how much? 4 to 6 valid points within your answer, 4 to 6 valid points within your answer for the third subtask. So let's move on to the answer plan. Yeah, use of big data for sales forecasting and planning. That's my main heading, which is in bold and underlined format. And I've utilized different subheadings to highlight the benefits of using big data and limitations of big data, which are in bold format. I, spoke about all these things, the headings and subheadings and whatnot, in depth in webinar number 3, answering technique. So if you missed out on it, please go watch the recorded version to get an in-depth understanding about how to structure your answers and how to work on your answering and time management skills. So first things first, I've highlighted how big data enhances sales operations because if we rely on big data, it exposes us to structured data as well as unstructured data. So relying on big data is a situation where rather than relying on internally generated data, we rely on externally generated data because big data dumps are managed by companies such as Facebook, YouTube, then TikTok and whatnot, Amazon, all these big companies which has major presence on the internet. They gather information about their customers and they thereby store all this information within their big data dumps. So as a company, if we gain the services of these big data services providers, what happens is we can gain, by paying some money, we can gain access to relevant information in both structured and unstructured format. So it's something like this. Let's assume we are planning on moving to a new market. So when expanding to a new market, it's best that we gain a good understanding about the customer demands or tastes of the customers within a certain geographical location in which we are going to locate, or in which we are trying to sell our products. So when trying to understand the needs of customers, the best way to gain information is to pay for pay some money and gain information from these big data service providers. So we'd gain an in-depth understanding about the needs of customers, what type of tastes, the demographics and whatnot, which will help us when it comes to selling our products and designing our products concerning a certain geographical, concerning a set of customers within a certain geographical location. So that's what big data is all about. So big data is a situation where we pay a big company which has a large presence on the internet, and in return we get benefited by gaining access to structured and unstructured data, which can be used for our forecasting and planning initiatives. So big data enhances sales operations by giving us access to structured and unstructured data. What type of structured data am I talking about? We can gain structured data internally because we can refer to our past sales records, which gives us a clear indication of what we can expect in the future. By looking at our past sales records, we can see how sales had increased or decreased. We can understand the seasonality in sales. If there are any trends, we can also see these trends as well. And on top of that, rather than relying on internal data sets, we can rely on external data sets which are purchased from big data service providers, which gives us an indication about customer demographics as well as different and in-depth understanding. We can gain an in-depth understanding about market trends as well. So these are the type of structured data which we can gain by investing on big data. And on top of that, we are exposed to unstructured data as well. So these are the type of data gathered from social media. When relying on data gathered through social media, we have to do some processing in order to convert this data into information, hence the term unstructured data. So we have to have the capabilities to analyze the data sets, because on social media, you get real human beings, managing their own accounts, or there could be fake accounts as well. So we are bombarded with a lot of information. So we have to have the capabilities to accurately convert this data into information. That's why we say we call these type of data sets as unstructured data. And we'd also gain access to customer reviews and what customers talk about within online forums such as social media, Instagram, and whatnot, which gives us a clearer picture of customer needs, tastes, changing trends, and whatnot. So this is how big data can be used to enhance sales operations by relying on additional data sets, which increases the accuracy of our forecasts and which enables us to gain a good understanding about the customers or the markets in which we operate. So moving on to the second part, highlighting the benefits and limitations. Benefits of using big data for sales forecasting. It increases the accuracy of projections by analyzing a diverse data set, as I mentioned earlier. So we can easily identify emerging trends and changes in buying patterns. And based on these, after understanding these changes, we can change our product offerings. So for instance, if you look at the backpack market, there's a lot of technology coming in. Major players, I've also included this in one of the mock exams which I've developed as part of a scenario where major players within the industry, if you look at real life companies, real life backpack manufacturers, they have integrated trackers within the backpack so that if a backpack is misplaced or stolen, the owner of the backpack can easily gain information about or track their backpack so that they can find it easily. So this type of new technology had come in. How did these backpack manufacturers understand these issues? By relying on big data dumps, because by relying on big data dumps, they are capable of understanding the exact needs of customers and on top of that, accurately predict how the market is going to operate or how customer perceptions are going to change in the future. And relying on big data enables real-time analysis because at all times we are fed with timely or up-to-date information. So this will help us proactively adjust our sales strategies. So if you look at the internal dynamics of back office, we rely on a standard costing system. So because of that, we are preparing our budgets on an incremental basis. So we do not change our budgets for 12 months. We wait until the 12-month period or the budget period expires to update our budget. So we are operating within a dynamic market. We are dealing with a lot of young customers. So the needs of this customer demographic always keeps changing. So when operating within such a dynamic market, should we stick to these static standards or our budgets? It should not be the case. So if you look at our costing processes, we rely on standard cost cards and these standards are updated annually, which indicates that our standards might be outdated. So rather than relying on outdated standards, we can always rely on up-to-date information, which improves decision making, thereby enabling us to adjust our sales strategies to be aligned with the changes in the market. Because if we align our sales related strategies and planning if we align ourselves with changes with the market, then we will always be innovative. And when we are innovative in the eyes of customers, it leads to extreme levels of customer satisfaction and brand loyalty. We can also optimize inventory management. We are dealing with a lot of suppliers when sourcing our raw material, our accessories, as well as packaging material. So it's best that we keep track of the changing dynamics when dealing with these suppliers. It's best that we keep track of the changing raw material prices, accessory prices, as well as changing packaging material prices. And at the same time, it's best that we keep track of the quality of material which we receive. It's best that we keep track of the lead times of all different suppliers we deal with. So all these type of tracking, which leads to better inventory management, can be achieved by relying on big data. And we can optimize marketing effort and spend rather than blindly spending money on marketing. We can see how effective a marketing campaign is going to be, which will ensure that our ROMI or return on marketing investments will increase in the future. Because when we gain a good understanding about a certain market, and when we gain an understanding about the tastes or the demographics of a certain market, we can design our advertising to be aligned with the demographics which we find within a certain geographical location or within a certain market, which will improve our ROMI or return on marketing investments. And big data also reveals correlation between different factors, such as the impact on sales due to seasonal changes, as well as the impact on sales due to changes in economic factors, especially given the fact that we are selling a premium product. So our prices are higher than the other players in the market. We are charging a premium price. So when we are charging a premium price, let's assume we are operating our economy is exposed to a recession. If that is the case, the disposable income levels of people will decrease. So when disposable income levels decrease, then they won't spend money on backpacks. Instead, they'd focus their attention towards fulfilling their daily needs, or they'd spend money on essential items. So economic factors will have a direct impact on our sales performance. So utilizing big data, we can gain an in-depth understanding about how the economy is operating, and we can predict how economic cycles or economic factors will impact our sales, and we can thus be future ready. And looking at the limitations of big data, when dealing with all these structured as well as unstructured data, we have to ensure that we achieve or fulfill the 3 V's. What are these 3 V's? Volume, variety, and veracity of data gathered. We have to make sure that we have the capability of handling large data sets, because we have to have analytical capabilities, especially when dealing with unstructured data, because as I mentioned earlier, we have to spend some effort and time as well as resources on converting these unstructured data into information. So we need to have the necessary analytical tools and skilled analysts within our organization. As per what's highlighted within the pre-scene, we are solely focusing our attention towards backpack manufacturing. It's highly unlikely that we have the necessary capabilities or skilled analysts within our organization, which will enable us to gain the best type of benefits by purchasing big data. And on top of that, it's highly unlikely that we have systems to engage in big data analytics as well. So we have to focus on how we handle this volume. And on top of that, we have to deal with a variety of data sets. We are not only relying on internal data. Instead, as I mentioned earlier, we are relying on data pertaining to customer demographics, market trends. We have to gather data from social media. We have to rely on customer reviews and data gathered via different online forums. So our data sets will carry different variety. So we will be exposed to different varieties of data. Some type of data could be in document form. Some could be in graphical form. Some could be videos, especially when gathering information from social media handles. We'd have to deal with a lot of videos. So we have to rely on a variety of data sets. So gathering these data sets is easy, but evaluating or analyzing these data sets and trying to gain a good understanding about what this data tells us is not that easy. So we need to have the systems in place to do so, and the skilled analysts should be used. And we have to also think about the veracity of data, which is about thinking about accuracy of data gathered, because as I mentioned earlier, especially when dealing with unstructured data, which is gathered via social media handles, some social media accounts are actual accounts, whereas some are fake accounts. So we have to make sure that we are gathering information which is accurate. If not, based on inaccurate information, we will take wrong decisions. So we need to invest on data storage and management, because we are dealing with a variety of data and a high volume of data. So we'd have to spend money on implementing DBMSs or database management systems, which are needed to manage these data sets. And we should ensure the veracity or data accuracy, thereby focusing our attention towards solely relying on relevant data and we should have the internal capabilities to spot irrelevant data as well, and these irrelevant data should not be considered within our decision making processes. And we have to think about the costs versus the benefits on offer by relying on big data, because it will be extremely costly, because we have to spend on analytical tools, different systems and processes, as well as we have to depend on skilled analysts. If we don't have skilled analysts within our organization, we might have to recruit new individuals, or we might have to rely on third parties, which exposes us to additional costs. And we have to invest on data storage and management, and we have to ensure data accuracy. So all these things will be costly, so we'd have to spend a lot of money if we are to benefit from big data. So we have to understand the costs of implementation versus the type of benefits which we'd be exposed to by relying on big data. So if the costs outweigh the benefits, so if you have to spend a lot of money, but the returns which we are generating is less, then we have to forego the investment on big data. All right, so that's what you need to how you should structure. So I hope you gain an in-depth understanding about big data and how it can be used for forecasting initiatives. And on top of that, I hope you gained a good understanding about how to apply your knowledge, because this is not only about parroting theory, it's always about considering what the company is going through at the moment, considering the internal dynamics when developing your answer. Okay, and what you are expected to do is you are supposed to redevelop the answer plans on your own, just like what I've carried out the explanations via the master classes. I've explained all elements covered within our mock exams. So after watching it, the master classes focused on a certain mock exam, you are supposed to test your knowledge by redeveloping answer plans. And after you had redeveloped answer plans, compare your fresh answer plans to these answer plans to see whether you have whether you need to further improve the way in which you structure your answer and the type of information which you present, whether you need to improve your skill set and application skills when it comes to developing answer plans. Because if you nail answer planning, if you can develop answers or structure answers appropriately, you will get the highest amount of marks at your real examination. All right, so that's that. So those who stuck to our study plan were extremely comfortable at their examination, and thus they gained more than 100 marks when the pass mark was just 80. That's exactly why we achieved a 96% pass rate. So considering the session which was conducted in August, one single student failed, and this student failed because of not adhering to the study plan. This individual just had started preparations a week before the exam, so because of that only attempted 2 mock exams. That's why this individual failed. Other than that, everybody else passed. That's why we achieved a 96% pass rate, and most who stuck to the study plan achieved more than 100 marks. So you can achieve a similar feat, even although you have 3 weeks at your disposal. If you stick to the 3-week study plan which I have shared with you, you will be extremely comfortable at your real examination. All right, so having said that, I'm opening up for the Q&A. Let me pause the recording. All right, folks, so if you want to contact us, you can do it via our website, which is www.study@tcs.com. Go to our website and click on the contact area and drop your message. Our admin staff will get in touch with you via email during office hours, and you can email us at info@study@tcs.com or WhatsApp us on this number. You can also follow us on our social media handles, especially TikTok and YouTube, because the recorded versions will be uploaded to our YouTube handle. And on top of that, via TikTok, you'd gain access to a pre-seen mind map. So on your way to work on a daily basis, keep watching these TikTok videos to keep reminding yourself about what appears within your pre-seen document. And having said that, it brings us to the end of the first workshop. I hope you gain something out of this, and I urge you to stick to the study plan. If you're yet to start preparations, you still have time. Stick to our 3-week study plan, which starts from Saturday. And if so, you will be extremely successful at your real examination. So I hope to see you guys next Sunday at our second workshop, where I'm going to take you through an F1 related question. Thank you very much and take care.